It's a French cousin.
Mate, he was involved with the Tour de France, Bernard Tapie.
Yeah, good bloke, Bernie. Don't see much of him these days. He's due here soon, as a matter of fact. The Mollycote Handicap, the race coming up, 1,500 metres. Not an easy one. Inconceivable looks like running as favourite. It's quite amazing, you know. Brian Mayfield-Smith, who was the champion Sydney trainer in the season just concluded, invariably had 5 or 6 runners on every metropolitan program right throughout the year. Here we are on the opening day of the new season. He's got only 1 runner all day long, and it's inconceivable. So, Ray, he'll be very hopeful, I'd imagine, of kicking off the new season on the right leg.
Certainly the case, Tappy, and he started that season rather quietly, as you say. Let's check them from the top. Plain Cover at 7-2 and probably the best backed. LA Triumph at 16-1. Ex Parte at 25-1. Inconceivable 11-4. Jax at 16-1. Reuters News at 9-1. Vain Princess at 7-1. Whimper at 15-1. Triple Jump Ron at 13-2. No Scribbles at 8-1. Top Blend at 400s. And Battle Action John Tapp at 60-1.
Righto, Ray, beautiful day in Sydney. In fact, we've had freakish weather right through the winter season. And to our viewers in Melbourne watching and listening at the moment, I can imagine that a statement like that would add to your frustration. Because I know it hasn't stopped raining in Melbourne for many months, and punters particularly have had a torrid battle facing up to heavy track after heavy track, and that's on again today at Sandown. But in Sydney, it's just been quite amazing, really. You could count the wet days on one hand, and 90% of days in the last 5 or 6 weeks have been like this one. Blue skies, little or no wind, and it's quite warm out in the open. Now, Inconceivable is the last one to move into the stalls, and they're about set now. Track cleared in front, starter Billy Dale, mounted on his rostrum, about to release the field. Those purple colours you can see in the #1 barrier belong to the Cyril Kearns trained No Scruples, a recent winner at Randwick, and quite unlucky at his most recent start. Triple Jump Ron is the youngest runner in the field. They're off now, and the grey Battle Action slow to move. He sprawled out of the gate, and beginning brilliantly, Plain Cover went straight to the front. Jax is quickly into stride and going quickly as Vain Princess into a prominent spot, followed by LA Triumph. And close handy then is the filly Whimper when they settle down, followed by Reuters News about midfield on the fence, 1.5 to Triple Jump Ron, followed by No Scruples Ex Parte. Inconceivable, given a ton of time to find his feet, as third last. Top Blender second last, and Battle Action last. Now look at these leaders go. Plain Clever cleared out in the run to the first turn at the 900, led by 2 lengths on Jax. 8 lengths away third, Vain Princess, who's got the job of taking the field up to those tearaways. And then Whimper, Reuters News, followed by LA Triumph and Triple Jump Ron. No Scruples well back, and so too are Ex Parte and Inconceivable, and last of all Top Blend and Battle Action. To the turn they run, and they're strung out like Brown's cows. It's Plain Cover 2.5 in front of Jax, and 7 or 8 lengths away Vain Princess. Some of the riders back in the field are getting worried now. They realise they've let these leaders get a hell of a long way in front of them. At the head of the others, Whimper, followed by LA Triumph, Triple Jump Ron, and Inconceivable getting a checkered passage. He's gone back to the fence again. Coming to the 200, Plain Cover led, wobbling out. There's a rails run for Jax. Vain Princess 1.5 lengths behind them, about to pounce now. Inconceivable's run up on the fence. He's getting a rails run on the favourite. Inconceivable about to burst through on the rail, and Mayfield, Smith and Cassidy are away to a flying start in the new season. That's come from a mile back to win. Reuters News got up for second, I think, in front of Jackson, No Scruples. Then Vain Princess, Ex Parte, Triple Jump Ron, LA Triumph and Battle Action, followed by Whimper, Top Blend, and Plain Cover, naturally enough, carved up and finished near the tail of the field. 1 or 2 exhibitions of impatience in that particular race. And it certainly paved the way for a strong finisher like Inconceivable. He was probably a little bit lucky in one sense, because just after they turned for home, Cassidy went to go between a couple. The opening closed and he ran into a brick wall. He had to stop, go back to the fence again without losing momentum, and he was a little bit fortunate that the horse didn't get unbalanced at that point. But after that, oh, look at the rails run he gets, will you? You can see the amazing the way things can break your way or don't break your way. But for Jake Cassidy, they broke his way right through the old season, and they've started off similarly in 86, 87. Look at that. You've got more runs on the 18 pence than you've ever seen. Jack's in second place at the moment. Old Reuters News, who's been a real money spinner for his connections in the brown and yellow hoops, is starting to charge home now. His No Scruples on the extreme outside in the purple and yellow colours, but the bird's flown. Inconceivable, Mayfield Smith's only runner of the day. Jim Cassidy, I think, has 2 rides, the other one being Madalena, in the final event. But Inconceivable, number 4, is going to pay odds of 3 to 1 on the tote. Second, number 6, Reuters News, tote odds of 10 to 1. Third, number 5, Jacks, tote odds of 18 to 1. Those placings now become official. OK, you're going to see race 5 live, the Sellies Handicap. Kenny Callender has an opinion of the race. Let's hear it.
Most of the horses I like today are at good value, and such is my tip in race 5, TAB number 11, Prince Ashlar. Now, if you've got your form guide, you'll find that his last 3 starts, Prince Ashlar has been beaten at Kembla, Wyong and Canberra. That doesn't sound so hot, does it? But let me tell you, the horses that he raced there are tougher than the horses he's racing at Rosehill today. He's got number 1 barrier. He should be just off the speed all the way. And if Tony Marnie can get him a run at the top of the straight, well, you watch out. I think he's worth having a buck or 2 on. Last start at Kembla when he finished 3rd, he didn't have a lot of luck. And I think today might be his chance to have that bit of luck. Prince Ashlar, TAB number 11. OK, Ken, and Tony Marnie, the rider, a very capable jockey. Now, there's Jim Cassidy coming back on Inconceivable. His first winner of the 86-87 season. The same applies to trainer Brian Mayfield-Smith, and the colours, of course, are the colours of Bob Lapointe and his associates. White, red diamond, yellow sleeves, yellow cap. They were carried to victory by, well, with monotonous regularity throughout the whole season. They're best known as the colours of that great grey mare, Emancipation. Here's a break now, and then the boys resume on Wide World of Sports.
Eastern Standard Time. OK, let's go to Rosehill now. It's time for race 5, the Sellies Handicap, over 1,200 metres. And Johnny Tapp, Brian Mayfield-Smith, has started the new season the way he finished the old one.
Exactly right, Ian. 1 runner for 1 winner, Inconceivable in race 4. Well, punters at Rosehill have been jumping into a gaping chasm of a bookmaker's bag here in the elusive search for a winner. They've backed quite a number of horses in the race coming up, including Sound of Bells. Ray, I had a look at him going to the barrier. He looks absolutely magnificent.
Yeah, he does look good, Tappy. The other 2 they backed are Chilada and Targlish, so there's the 3 that are best backed. Foreign Edition at 8 to 1, Calypso King at 20s, Sound of Bells the favourite 11 to 4, Tugger Man, some money for it too at longer odds at 10 to 1, Bad Galeese at 8 to 1, Glomunda 100s, Chilada 13 to 2, Prince Ashlar at 14 to 1, Kenny Callender's selection, Targlish at 6 to 1 in from 8s, Lunch in Paris 33s, Half Shilling 14, Grand Gaelic at 12 to 1, the bottom 2 any old price, Golden Comet and Fleming 660 and 330 respectively, John.
Righto, Ray. Chilada's an interesting runner. She hasn't started for a while now. In fact, her last run was in March in the Hawkesbury Guineas. She showed a lot of ability last time in. She's a daughter of Luskin Star, or rather it's a gelding I'm talking about, a son of Luskin Star. Chilada got a bit of a reputation as a Burnborough finisher. You might remember he came home with an amazing burst at the end of a couple of his races. Bruce Compton won a race on him here one day, and he came from an impossible position, Chilada. He must have been sporting a decent old winter coat when he came back from that spell, because they've clipped the long hair from him, Chilada, except for the legs, and he looks like a patchwork quilt as he moves into the gates. Now, his Sound of Bells, who won 2 straight here at Rosehill in good style, and then Connections got pretty ambitious and headed off to Grafton for the Rich Ramorny handicap, in which he finished only 6th, but he was only about 2.5 lengths from the winner. It was an outstanding effort, and he looks beautiful. Now, Prince Ashlar has the coveted inside barrier. Tony Marnie has the mount. Bad Galeese won a race recently at Canterbury, but this is a stronger essay. Grand Gaelic faces up squarely. They're all in, bar Sound of Bells. This fellow can on occasions jump awkwardly in his races. If he does that today, he's probably better off drawn out where he is than he would be drawn in close, because it means that he'll miss that early traffic jam. He just has a tendency to sit back and be a little hesitant when the starter says go. Now, if they do that when they're drawn in close, they can get chopped right out of business. So in his case, I think he's better off drawn out wide. Now, the starter's ready, mounts his rostrum, Billy Dale doing the honours, and they'll jump at any second. Line looks good. Glomunda in the Riverdale colours, faces up squarely. Bad Galeese stands well, so does Fleming. The gates open, off and running. Another great start. They came out in a nice even line, and Fleming, desperately ridden by Campton, is going to head him off and lead. Bouncing away quickly, Prince Ashlar, followed by Tuggerman, Grand Gaelic and Half Shilling. Bad Galise prominent soon after the start, followed by Calypso King, Foreign Edition, and then Targlish. Well back when they settle, Sound of Bells, who jumped away fairly well. At the head of the others, Lunch in Paris, followed by Tulada and Glowmunder and Golden Comment. They're well spread out as they come through the gap onto the course proper, and Fleming is fairly flying, led by a length and a half on Prince Ashlar, 2 lengths away, Half Shilling on the outside of Tuggerman, about 4 to Bad Galise and Grand Gaelic, and then Foreign Edition, Targlish and Calypso King. Sound of Bells hard ridden in midfield as they turn for home, and spotting them a pretty tidy start. Into the straight now, and Prince Ashlar is driven to the lead by Tony Marnie and booted away nicely clear as they turn for home over Tuggerman running on, and then Calypso King and Foreign Edition, and Sound of Bells is trying to weave between them. By gee, there's a big bunch here. Bad Galise grabbed the lead, Grand Gaelic, and here comes Tulada, and Sound of Bells is squeezing through. Look at him go. Sound of Bells got the split, dashed through, and ta-da! Sound of Bells has raced away to win another one. Tulada maybe second in front of Golden Comment, which jumped out of the ground. What a race that was. And then Targlish, Bad Galise in front 50 metres out, and he's run 5th. Calypso King next from Grand Gaelic, Lunch in Paris, Foreign Edition, and then Glowmunder, Prince Ashlar, weakened badly. Well back Tuggerman, Half Shilling, and last of all the early lead of Fleming. This is a damn good horse, isn't it? Sound of Bells. His run in the Ramornie handicap was very good. He was far from disgraced up there. He jumped about 5 grades at Grafton. And back today to his own class, midfield on the turn. Look at this for a race. I didn't know where to look. He just got a split 70 or 80 metres out, and it was all over in a twinkling. I think 3 or 4 other horses in the straight were being hailed as the winner. Bad Galise got to the lead and then ran about 5th. Tulada loomed up. Look at Golden Comment wide out in the black, orange sleeves, orange cap, absolutely charging home. But it was an amazing race. All Sound of Bells needed was a bit of galloping room, and once he saw daylight, it was all over in a twinkling. He's come out of the woodwork, this horse, in the last 3 months or so. He's by Gwent, an imported English sire out of Crillon, trained by Ken Burns, or is it Kevin Burns, I think, a Newcastle trainer, ridden by Bruce Compton, who's been on board at each of the horse's 3 recent Rosehill wins. So he's a real track specialist. Now, the numbers are 4, 9 and 17. Sound of Bells first, Tulada second. What a great first-up effort by Tulada at his first run in some 6 months. And third, number 17, and that was Golden Comment, T. Phillips. Now, Kenny Callender has some thoughts on the Dow Corning Missile Stakes. Let's see what he has to say.
In race 6, the 2 main chances in the betting look to be Shankill Lass and High Signal. I'm not mad on either of them. I think Shankill Lass will find the race a little bit short, 1100 metres, and I just can't see where High Signal's going to be from barrier 8. I think he'll need a lot of luck to win over this distance from the outside alley. The horse I like is Baloo. Now, Baloo might look to have her share of weight, but she's an informed sprinter. She's ideally suited by the 1100 metres, and I visualise her trailing Noble Roman to the turn and then letting go. When she does, you watch out. I think she'll win. Baloo, TAB number 7 in race 6.
Well, Ken, if she does, she'll complete a winning double for the jockey you can see on your screen right now, Bruce Compton, who rode that previous winner, Sound of Bells, and Bruce looks quietly pleased with himself and with Sound of Bells as he brings that winner back down the Victory Raceway, or he's about to do that. They're club's colours he's wearing, pink and black stripes, white sleeves and a pink cap. Good on you, Bruce, and Sound of Bells. OK, we'll have more live racing action from Rosehill at around about 3:20, but right now a break and then more on Wide World of Sports.
And again to Johnny Tapp. Race 6 coming up, the Dow Corning Missile Stakes. And, mate, this looks a pretty fine sprint.
It's a good race, Mike. The Missile Stakes was introduced by the Sydney Turf Club as recently as 1978. And the first one was won by that good mare, Idol. Subsequent winners have been Salam, Macho. The race wasn't run in 1981. And then we had Razor Sharp, Nordic Prince, Young Blood. And then came the most controversial Missile Stakes in history. Do you remember the day the barrier stalls bogged down on the Quagmire track over there in the back straight? And they started the race by flag. Pluviet was the winner, starting at 100 to 1. I think he won only one more race after that in Melbourne on one occasion. But it certainly brought the stipendiary stewards under tremendous fire. at the time, and it was one of the most controversial happenings in Sydney racing in the last 10 years. Last year, the Missile was won by Row of Waves. Traditionally, we don't seem to get a lot of runners in this race. This year is no exception, and we've got a couple of them resuming after spells, including Riverdale. What a great horse he's been. Winner of an Epsom, winner of an Ampol Stakes and a Gosford Cup. Old Manuan, who needs no introduction. He's the veteran of the field, a 9-year-old. And the little mare, Shankhill Lass, who's resuming after a spell, but looks to have furnished and grown a good deal. Gee, it's an interesting race, Ray.
John, not a lot of quantity there, but certainly a touch of quality. Let's check the tote board from the top. Riverdale at 15-2, Manuan at 14-1, High Signal at 5-2, disputing favouritism with Shankhill Lass. Excuse me, Noble Raymond at 15-2. Max Treasure 25-1, Shankhill Lass at 2-1, Barloo at 9-2, and Hater Prince at 25-1. Tappy, on looks, if you had to back one, it'd be Barloo, Kenny Calendar's selection.
Yeah, racy little mare, and she's going to be very hard to beat. She's race fit. She has the speed to be near the lead all the way in this 1,100-metre scamper. And Ken might be right on the ball. Bruce Compton has the mount. He won the previous race on Sound of Bells. Max Treasure obviously getting ready for an easier race than this. This is not his cup of tea. Shankhill Lass has done a great job. She's won $239,000 in only 18 starts so far. But the great money spinners are Old Riverdale and Manuan. Between them, they've won more than $1 million. They're racing in the Missile. Shankhill Lass missed it by about 3/4 of a length and is back last when they get going. And Barloo bounded out in front of Noble Roman, who's going straight to the lead, and they've scooted away clear of Manuan, followed by High Signal, and then Max Treasure, and getting well back on settling down, Hater Prince. Shankhill Lass improving now to be third last, and Riverdale can't go the pace. He's last of all. Now Noble Roman's in front by 1.5 lengths or a length on Barloo, getting closer. Manuan stays within touch of them as they near the turn. About 2 lengths away then came Max Treasure, followed by High Signal and Shankhill Lass. Hater Prince second last, and Riverdale can't stay in touch as they turn for home. Into the straight on the heavily bandaged Noble Roman just led. Barloo's about to pounce on him. 2 lengths away Manuan, followed by Max Treasure, and Shankhill Lass and High Signal further out. Shankhill Lass starting to wind up at the 200 mark. Barloo the leader. Old Manuan's the first to go after it, and Shankhill Lass down the outside. What a race it is. It's Shankhill Lass. Shankhill Lass on the extreme outside, grabbing the lead in the shadows of the post. She's a great little mare. Shankhill Lass came away to win. Manuan or Riverdale for second. Did you see Riverdale come home? And then Barloo, Noble Roman, High Signal. They all went over the line in a big heap. Max Treasure right on their heels, and last of all is Hater Prince. But there was very little between the whole lot of them as they went over the line. A great race, and Shankhill Lass has come back better than ever, as Mick Dittman said she had. Mick is under suspension. His appeal was thrown out, and he couldn't ride Shankhill Lass today, and I read it was a bitter disappointment to him, and a lucky ride it was for Johnny Marshall. As I mentioned just before they jumped, she's won $239,000. You can add another $18,600 to that in only 19 race starts. She's by Star Way, out of Paddy's sister, trained by Tommy Smith and ridden by Johnny Marshall, who doesn't ride a lot for the TJ Smith stable, but I guess with Dittman out and other top riders unavailable, Peter Cook is out, of course, on the injured list, and they say he'll be out for 6 months or more. Johnny Marshall gained the ride. Now look at this for a bunch of horses. Now Riverdale is still in last place on the right-hand side of your screen, but he's only 3.5 lengths from the leader, and watch him start to motor now, the old boy. Shankhill Lass got to the lead near home over Manuan, Barloo, Noble Roman. Look at the one over on the rails in the yellow, Hater Prince, getting onto their heels with nowhere to go. Max Treasure has run probably last in the race and only 3.5 lengths from the winner. So you could find the form works out a little bit topsy-turvy, but all honours with the winner, who'll improve a ton. Let's see what Kenny Calendar's got to say about race 7, the Dow Corning Handicap.
The second leg of the Daily Double, race 7, is one of the trickiest races on the program. The horse I'm going for is TAB number 6, Kutzbar. Now on his old form, Kutzbar is thrown into a welter with only 1 kilogram over the limit, and this is a very weak welter. The fly in the ointment is that Kutzbar hasn't been going that good of late, except last Saturday, that is, because last Saturday he rattled home when third to 4 Papa over 1,600 metres at Warwick Farm. There's no horse as good as 4 Papa against him today, and the extra 400 metres will improve Kutzbar like a bit of cream does some nice peaches. I think he can win today. TAB number 6, Kutzbar, in race 7.
Good on you, Ken. Thank you very much. There's the winner being escorted back to scale now by the clerk of the course. Those colours years ago were the colours of the Leviathan bookmaker Ken Ranger, who raced a lot of horses during his bookmaking life. Red, white sleeves, white cap, and they're now the property of the people that own Shankhill Lass, Measures, Rogers and Twig. Back for race 7 live at 5 to 4. Right now, this break on Wide World of Sports.
Commencing race 7, the Dow Corning Welter Handicap. Johnny Tapp, the sponsors keep rolling in for racing.
Yeah, Dow Corning bought the whole day here today, Ian. Great promotion in coordination with the Sydney Turf Club and a big crowd in attendance, getting lots of giveaways. All right, let's see if the punters can make a monkey out of the bookies or the tote machine. Ray Hadley, what are they betting?
Quickly down the board, John, because they're just about set. Azar's Command 15 to 2, Wallara Prince at 9 to 2, McCluskey 14 to 1, Regal Diplomat 15 to 4, Folsom 33s, Kutzbar at 12s, Bail Up at 10 to 1, Really Pretty at 6 to 1, Baron Kane 15s, Leg Warmer at 14 to 1, Santaniaco well backed at 7 to 1, So Different at 40 to 1, Pedro's Tigress at 330 to 1. Tappy, a blind start for me. I think they're just about set.
OK, Ray, thank you. Yes, the white flag's in the air. As soon as they jump, he'll lower that flag, and people here on course will see them a second or two later. At home, of course, you'll see it all the way, and they're off and running now, and here they come, and I can see them, thank goodness. And Folsom just led from Bail Up, and out deep in the all-pink colours of the club is Really Pretty. So Difference, the grey horse with the yellow cap, running fourth on the rail just after the start, and then Leg Warmer, Baron Kane and Wallara Prince about midfield, one horse off the rail in a good spot. A length and a half then to Regal Diplomat, followed by Pedro's Tigress, Santaniaco, Azar's Command. Kutzbar second last, and dropping out to be last is McCluskey as they wheel into the back stretch. Now they've got about 1,400 metres to go, and Folsom is allowed to stride away. Opened up a lead of 4 or 5 lengths on Bail Up, and 2.5 to Really Pretty. A length to So Different, a length to Leg Warmer, 2 to Baron Kane on the inside of Wallara Prince, a length Santaniaco. Further back, Pedro's Tigress, followed by Regal Diplomat, Azar's Command and Kutzbar, and last McCluskey. Down the back they go with about 1,200 to run, or a bit less than that, and Folsom led, Bail Up second. Moving around them quickly now, Santaniaco, Wallara Prince kicking up into 4th place, and then Really Pretty and So Different, Leg Warmer, Baron Kane, followed by Regal Diplomat. Further back is Kutzbar with Pedro's Tigress and Hussar's Command, and last of all is McCluskey. At the 800, Folsom led from Bail Up, Santaniaco. In the all-pink, Really Pretty, and then So Different, followed by Wallara Prince, who lost a little ground at that point. Further back, Leg Warmer with Baron Kane, followed by Regal Diplomat, Kutzbar, and well back in the field, Azar's Command with Pedro's Tigress and McCluskey as they come to the corner. It's Folsom in front as they turn for home. In second place in the white cap is Bail Up, 3 deep in the all-pink, Really Pretty, and Wallara Prince is set alight by Bartley and has carted very deep on the corner. In the straight now, Bail Up put his head in front of Folsom. Wallara Prince at old Azar's Command is putting in his run, and Kutzbar tried to get through between horses. He got chopped out badly. Azar's Command swept to the lead 100 metres out. The old boy's right back to his best. Azar's Command, I don't think he's won a race since the 4X Cup, but he's racing away and he's going to absolutely blitz them. Azar's Command won by a big margin. Kutzbar got second and should have finished closer. Third, either Bail Up or McCluskey, and then Baron Kane, Wallara Prince, followed by Leg Warmer, Pedro's Tigress, and then Regal Diplomat, Folsom and So Different, followed by Really Pretty, and Santaniaco is knocked up to run last. Azar's Command. Truth, it's a long time since he's won a race. He has run a couple of good ones just lately, but I'm nearly certain he hasn't won since the 4X Cup. When was that? It was on a heavy track 2 years ago. I might be wrong there, but I'll be interested to check the records. I don't think he's won a race for close on 2 years, that old fella. Azar's Command, a 9-year-old. Ridden by Johnny Marshall, so it's a double for him. He won the previous event, of course, on Shankhill Lass. And Azar's Command is trained in one of the most idyllic little hamlets in New South Wales, Lake Conjola, on the beautiful south coast. And whether you're horse or human, you always do very well at Lake Conjola. Azar's Command is by 7th Azar out of Lady Risa, trained by Bede Murray for a host of owners, R. Thomas, J. Bird, J. Sharkey, R. Bulcombe, E. Latter, and Bede Murray himself is a part owner. Now, the old fellow has won, including today's money, $318,000. 318,000. He's been a great money spinner. One to go at the hill. It's the Scholastic Gasket handicap at 4:30, and I want to hear what Kenny Callender's got to say about it.
The last race today, race 8, the Scholastic Gasket handicap, is a very even field. I've finally settled on TAB number 4, Grillet. Grillet's no champion, and he is probably a slight risk at 1,500 metres. However, I think he'll be in a good position all the way. He'll get to the lead in the straight, and then it's up to Jeff Allendorf and whatever heart Grillet has got. His last 2 starts have been okay. He finished second to Inconceivable at Randwick, and then was run off his legs when 4th to Slave Trade last week. Perhaps 1,400 metres would be ideal, but I'm willing to take the punt on the extra 100 metres. TAB number 4, Grillet, in what I hope is the lucky last.
Righto, Ken, there's the winner coming back now. Hussar's Command in the yellow and dark blue colours of that South Coast Syndicate, with a very happy Johnny Marshall on board, having cracked it for a double. In fact, he's had a great month, Marshall, highlighted by the Rothmans 100,000 win on a horse called Between Ourselves. Hang on, my mathematics are wrong. He's ridden 3 winners here today, hasn't he? J. Marshall, yes, he won the first on Glory Days, so it's a treble for JM. Good luck to him. More racing action a little later. Right now a break, and then Wide World of Sports continues.
Well, I know that it's sponsorship that makes the sports world go round these days, but Johnny Tapp, I never thought I'd see the day when the lucky last became the Scholastic Gasket handicap.
I got news for you. In a couple of weeks' time, we've got the Sorbent Stakes. How does that grab you? OK, Mike, the last event coming up, scratchings are number 1, Big Valdu, and number 7, Viva Apollo. It leaves a field of 12 to run. Jimmy Cassidy has his second ride of the day on the New Zealand mare Madalena. She's one of the chances, along with Old Butch and certainly the Jack Denham trained Grelette, which is going to be very heavily supported. I noticed Jeff Allendorf doing the bulk of the stable riding these days for Jack Denham. He's a very underrated, very strong rider, Jeff Allendorf, and I, for one, am particularly pleased to see the success he's enjoyed in the last few weeks. Grelette, Ray, one of the popular ones.
John, in fact, it's the best back runner in the race. Gillette around 11 to 4. From the top, Madalena at 11 to 4 also. It's stablemate Old Butch at 4 to 1. And Shane Dye had the pick of the mounts there and selected Old Butch. Gillette, as I said, the best back runner, 11 to 4. Border Raid at 80 to 1. Springer Wing at 20s. Go down to Fleet Invader at 8 to 1. Black Civic at 20s. King Rum's a bit easy at 9 to 2. Princess Sham at 200 to 1. Sunny Rebel 100s. Lady a la carte at 50 to 1. And Off and Away at 80 to 1. But certainly, Tappy, the best back winner is Gillette. And there is money also for Old Butch and its stablemate Madalena.
Good, Ray. Grelette's been racing very consistently. Was a good 4th at Warwick Farm to Slave Trade last week in a very smart field. And before that, Grelette had finished 2nd at Randwick in the race won by Inconceivable. And Inconceivable came out to score easily again here today. So the form around the horse is outstanding. Now, Shane Dye has an interesting ride in the race. He's on Old Butch for his boss, Brian Smith. And let's see what Shane had to say about this galloper.
The last time I saw him win a race was at Warwick Farm, and he just kept getting rails runs that day.
Yeah, he was very lucky and got an ideal run up on the fence and won by a nose. He just lasted to hang on.
Not a lot of depth in the field either?
Not a lot at all. As far as I can see, there's 2 horses, Grelette and our other horse, which Jim Cassidy's on, Madalena.
Shane Dye with that unmistakable North Island accent, and gee, haven't the New Zealand jockeys brained him here in Australia in recent years. Just at the moment, Shane Dye and Jim Cassidy are wreaking havoc in Sydney racing, and then over the years you've got blokes like Midge Didham and Gary Willits and Bob Skelton.